Thank you all so much for joining me today for this yoga practice that is online on Zoom with a group from Breastfriends in Tigard, Oregon. Their website is linked in the description box below so that if you or anyone you know could benefit from their support, please do reach out to them. They're a wonderful, amazing, responsive group of people. Today we are going to be working on mobility. It's really cold outside here in Oregon, so we'll be warming up the joints of the body as much as we're able to today. And we're also going to be working on some core strengthening. So many of us sit in a chair all day, myself included. So really helping to strengthen the core, not just the abs, but the hips and the back as well, really helps us to keep our back health in check and to keep long and strong in our spines. So go ahead and settle in for our practice. I'm just coming up here to admit one more person to class. Perfect timing. So from whatever tall seat serves you best, you can sit cross-legged like me or in Siddhasana with one shin in front of the other rather than stacked. And find just where you're sitting even in your sit bones. You might rock a little side to side or forward and back and just kind of take note here where you might be a little off balance. And maybe see what you can do to help yourself to feel balanced and to feel centered, at least in your body. In yoga, we have a model called the koshas, the 5 koshas. And these are the layers of the body. And the outermost physical layer is the annamaya kosha. This is the food body. So maybe just take a nice breath in, let it go out your mouth. Maybe another big inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth with a sigh. And then just coming back to breathing in and out of your nose, softening your gaze or closing your eyes if you feel comfortable and safe to do so. And just checking in with your outermost layer, the physical body. Feeling where your sit bones are in contact with the support underneath you. Feeling where your legs, your feet are supported. Maybe feeling the tingling aliveness of the palms of your hands. Maybe feeling some tension or some tightness, some stickiness. Maybe feeling some spaciousness and some ease, just acknowledging whatever is there without judging it or making up stories about it, just letting it be part of your experience today. And then moving inward to the pranayama kosha, the energy body. So this includes the breath, that vital life force within each one of us. This includes the blood, the lymph. This includes that sense of tingling or vital energy within us. So just slowing down and allowing yourself to really tap in to the feeling of your beating heart and your breath flowing in and out of your body. And then going even deeper to the manomaya kosha, the mind and the emotions. Taking just a moment here to notice what thoughts are present, what feelings are present. Just acknowledging that they're there, again, without judgment, with acceptance. And then even more inward, to the Vinaya Kosha, which I can never pronounce right. It's close. That's the wisdom body. That's a part of us that knows, hey, we probably shouldn't be skydiving at the age of 57. I don't know, some people do. For myself, I have been diagnosed with osteoporosis, so that's not a wise decision for me. Or maybe some days a wise decision is taking a slow and gentle yoga practice, and other days a wise decision is really getting after lifting some heavy weights. So that wisdom body, the one that's deeper than the thinking body of what I should do, or the feeling body of what I'm afraid to do, but that deeper inner knowing. And then finally, the bliss body, the Anandamaya Kosha, that's the part that we all strive to get to at the end of the yoga class when we're laying in Shavasana. And we just feel that all is right with the world. We feel in touch with our own inner compassion, courage, curiosity, calm, and clarity. And just allowing all of these layers to be part of your experience today. And really tapping into that wisdom body as you move and breathe. So let's go ahead and start doing just that. So from the top of the head down to the feet, let's go ahead and start moving those joints. So I like to call this rolling the joints practice. So we might start by imagining we've got that laser beam on the top of the head, and we're just going to draw some little circles in one direction. And you might notice some sounds that your neck is making. You might notice sensation along the sides of the neck and in the jaw. And then we'll circle in the opposite direction. And you can move as slow, as fast, as big, or as subtly as you would like here. And then now laser beam on the tip of the nose. We'll draw some imaginary circles on the wall in front of us. And again, relaxing around the jaw, across the brow, and then reversing the circle. And then coming back to center, let's roll the shoulders up and down and back. Nice and slow. Inhale, begin to link the movement with the breath. So let's inhale, shoulders up. Exhale to draw them back and down. Nice and slow here. And you might like to do both shoulders together. It might be kind of fun to do one shoulder and then the other. You might like to begin to stretch a little more in your side body. And when you feel enough there, roll those shoulders together one more time, down and back. Let your heart lift. And then let's inhale, open the arms up wide. Exhale, just bend the elbows to tap your fingertips on your shoulders. Inhale to open up. Exhale to tap inward. You can have your arms as low or as high as you want here, just noticing what feels right for you today, using that wisdom body to say, no, maybe I should have my arms low today, or yes, let's reach them up high today. And then the next time those fingertips come to rest on the shoulders, let's inhale right here. Exhale, little twist to the right. Inhale back to center and exhale to twist to the left. And as we continue side to side here, we're moving through the rib cage. So getting into the middle back now. Waking up the diaphragm, sitting up nice and tall. One more time to each side. And we'll inhale back to center. And then we'll just roll out those wrists. And again, arms can be low or high or somewhere in between. And we'll reverse those circles. And then we're going to spread the fingers out nice and wide. And then bring the fingers and thumb tips together like little shadow puppets. Spread them out nice and wide. Fingertips and thumbs tips touch. We'll do that a few more times. And then we'll open them up wide and curl them in. So just really, again, being gentle here. We're not wanting to punch somebody out. We're just wanting to get a little movement in the joints of the fingers. And then an extra little ditty for you. I'm 57 years old, so I'm always interested in brain health. A little practice that you can do that I saw on YouTube, a neuroscientist, is called rock on and hang loose. So I don't hang loose, kind of a Hawaiian symbol. So all three middle fingers down, thumb and pinkies pointed out. And then rock on, we lift up the index finger and hug the thumbs in. So hopefully you can see that in the video. So open up, hang loose, close, rock on. And then we'll just go forward and back with both hands like that. So this is kind of that old pat your head, rub your tummy exercise, really good for building neuroplasticity. Now the challenge here is, can you do rock on in one hand while you do hang loose in the other? That's really hard. Supposedly, according to this neuroscientist, you can find yourself doing really well with this and then add that to walking. So it's a dual effort here, which really makes your brain work. So something fun you can play with to help to develop brain health. And then we're gonna inhale, open up the arms wide. Exhale to draw them in towards one another. Inhale to open up wide, and then bring those fingers down behind you. Switch the cross of your legs if you're sitting cross-legged. If you're not sitting cross-legged and you're comfortable where you are, stay where you are. We're gonna just continue. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale, reach forward. And as you inhale and open up wide, you might take a little back bend, open up across the collarbones. And as you exhale and reach forward, round the spine. And this can look however it looks for you. There's no wrong way to stretch and move your body as long as you're finding it supportive and easeful and nourishing. One more time here. Let's inhale and open up. Exhale, release your hands down. This time we'll unwind the legs and we're just going to bring the feet to the earth and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Now your feet can be as close to one another as you like, or really nice and far apart. If you're sitting in a chair, you can do the same thing from your chair. And then we'll get a little bit more movement here in the hips. So taking the feet out wide, let's just let that right knee knock inward. So a nice little stretch on the outside of the right thigh. Couple breaths right there. And then inhale, right knee up. Exhale, left knee comes inward. Just breathing here. And then we'll inhale that knee right back up. And then we'll bring the feet together, knees out wide into butterfly. And let's just make some circles here. If you're in a chair, just stay seated where you are, or you could bring one leg up at a time, or maybe you've got a step stool you can bring your feet together on. And again, you can keep your circles pretty tall and subtle, or you can take a little of that cat-cow motion as you move around, getting your neck and your shoulders as involved as you like. And then we'll switch directions. And when you feel even in both directions, we'll come right back to center, come back to that tall spine. Check in once again with your breath, the pranayama kosha, with your physical body, thinking mind and your emotions. Notice if there's any shift there. And then double checking with your wisdom body about the choices that you're making in your movements today. Now, this will require that you get down on the mat or on the floor because we're going to do some spinal balance exercises. So we're coming to hands and knees. If you are sitting in a chair, you might use a second chair that you can bring your hands to and just stay seated with your hands on a second chair like this. If you can make your way down to the mat, let's go ahead and find ourselves in this tabletop position. Let's just start by inhaling and stretching that right leg out behind us. And we're going to do some heel rocks here. So just kind of pressing that heel back towards the wall behind you, getting a little bit of movement here in the toes. 26 bones in each foot. Together, that's more than half of the bones in our bodies. And then let's inhale, raise that leg up parallel to the ground. So again, if you're in a chair, you're only doing the upper body part. We're gonna make some circles though here in an ankle, which you could also do from your chair, and then in the opposite direction. Keep looking down towards your mat as you're able to, once you know what's going on, to keep your neck safe. And then we're gonna bend that right knee and make some hip circles. So I like to go in first, 3 or 4 in each direction, and then out and around. Keeping your back strong, drawing your belly button up towards your spine. And then we'll send that right leg out long again. Toes can be down or up. And we're just going to breathe here. Inhale, press your heel back. As you exhale, draw your belly button up towards your spine. Think about keeping your back nice and stable here. So like you've got a hot bowl of soup on your back that you don't want to spill. And if it feels okay, maybe lift your left arm from the mat. Toes are pointing down, thumbs are pointing up. Inhale right here, stretch and get long. Exhale, draw that belly button up towards your spine. Let's just have 3 more breaths like that here. Just using the breath to support the spine and engage the core. Think about hugging your hips in towards the midline. One more inhale here. And then let's exhale to release the hand and the knee down to the mat. And then we'll send those left toes back. And again, we'll just start here by moving the toes, the ankle, little bit of movement here in the hips. And again, this is a perfectly wonderful place to stay with your toes on the ground, finding some movement there. Or you can lift that left leg and make some ankle circles in one direction. And then the other. And then let's bend the left knee, make 3 or 4 circles, coming up and around and in. And then reversing out and around and down. And then sending those toes straight back, toes pointing down, either touching or hovering over the earth. Again, finding that nice, long, stable spine. So we want the hips facing the earth. We don't want to open up here. We want those hips square to the mat. Maybe extending that right arm also. Thumb pointing upward. Inhale, get super long here. Nice long neck, nice long spine. Exhale, draw the belly button up and in. Nice engagement across the glutes, the hips. 3 more breaths. One more inhale here. And then we'll exhale, release the hand, release the knee, tuck your toes under, send your hips back towards your heels, walk your hands forward, tuck the chin, take a nice extended child's pose here. And here with the belly against the thighs, as you breathe your breath, you can feel some expansion across the low back and in the hips. Using the pranayama kosha to support the annamaya kosha. The breath body supporting the food body. And then let's go ahead and come all the way back up to our tabletop. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, and then we're going to come down to our elbows. So bringing those elbows right where the hands were. Let's inhale here, draw the heart forward. Exhale, puff up the back, open up the shoulder blades, tuck the chin generously. Now you might like to stay here practicing cat and cow, moving through the shoulders and the neck and the ribs. Or for a more strength building posture, you could step your left toes back and then your right toes back and come into a forearm plank. Maybe just stay here for one breath, maybe stay for 3 breaths, but the same thing here. Inhale, get long, tuck the chin, press the heels back. Exhale, hug the belly button up towards your spine. One more inhale. And then let's exhale, lower the belly, untuck the toes, and come into Sphinx pose. Just breathing your breath here, giving yourself a little rest while still drawing the heart forward and drawing the ears away from the shoulders. And then when you're ready, let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press up into plank or tabletop. And then we're going to either come back to child's pose again, or take those hips up and back for downward facing dog. And you might want to walk your feet in a little bit closer from that plank position. And we'll just walk the dog out. We'll bend through the knees, let the head just be heavy here. One more inhale. Exhale, let's bring the knees down towards the mat, not to touch, just to hover. And then we'll inhale back to downward dog. So again, as you exhale here, draw the belly button up and in. Inhale, legs as straight as you're able to here without locking the knees. Let's just do 3 more. Take breaks when you need to. Listen to the wisdom body. And the next time those knees come down to the ground, we'll let them land. We'll walk the hands back towards the knees, come into high kneeling like this, or sit on your heels in hero's pose down to your mat. And just maybe shake out your wrists. That was a lot on the hands and wrists. Might curl those fingers in again or play a little imaginary piano. Whatever you need to do to come back to yourself, to reclaim your breath. And then let's find a seat. So here we're going to sit about in the center of the mat. And this is a great one to do from a chair if you like to. We're going to bring the hands either behind the thighs or around the front of the shins. And again, we're going to roll those shoulders up and down and back. Let your heart lift. Lengthen the back of the neck here. And maybe stay uplifted here. Maybe come down partway or halfway. And here we're going to practice a fogging the mirror breath. Now you can do this breath anytime, anywhere, nobody will even know. We're going to make it a little harder by being in Navasana, boat pose, which is what this is. So we'll inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, open up your mouth and exhale like you're fogging up a mirror or a window where you're going to draw a little message to somebody. So inhale through the nose, exhale like you're trying to fog up an imaginary window. Do that 2 or 3 times and see how that feels as you find that exhale on your core. Keeping your back long. And then once you have that down, see if you can continue doing that, breathing in and out of the nose. So maintaining that same engagement. Just using your breath here. You can do this behind the wheel of your car, at your desk, in line at the grocery store. Maybe you release your hands and let your palms shine up. Maybe come down a little bit farther. Maybe you play around with lifting one leg and maybe the other, maybe both legs. Breathing your breath. Just a couple more rounds. We're just playing here. We're just seeing what feels right, what feels supportive, checking in with the wisdom body, the food body, the energy body, what feels right to you. One more full breath wherever you are. And then let's exhale, bring the feet back to the ground if they're lifted, and we'll just roll one vertebra at a time down to the earth. Hug those knees in towards your heart. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then coming back to center, let's release the palms alongside the hips. And inhale to press your feet up towards the sky. And we're just gonna let those legs hang out right over the hips here, nice and tall and straight like telephone poles. This is a great posture to do with the legs up against the wall if you have time. Very restorative for your nervous system and a nice reset for the lymphatic system as we let all that lymph fluid that pools in our extremities come back down to the core to be filtered and replenished. And you might like to find that fogging the mirror breath here, just being in stillness, inhaling through the nose and exhale to hug the belly button towards the spine. Now you might like to continue there, or you could cross your ankles, inhale here, and exhale to draw your knees down towards your heart. Inhale to get long. Exhale to draw inward. Let's just do that 3 more times. Doesn't matter which foot is crossed on top because we are going to switch after those 3. So then switching and finding 5 more on this side. Inhale, length. Exhale to draw inward. Keep the muscles of your face soft. And when you've completed 5 on each side, we'll uncross the legs, maybe wiggle the toes, move the ankles, rock a little side to side. And then let's go ahead and bring the feet back down to the ground, maybe about as wide as your mat. Open up your arms into a T shape or maybe cactus arms with the elbows bent. Kind of snuggle your shoulder blades up underneath your heart. We'll inhale right here. Exhale, let your knees go to the right as you take your gaze to the left. Inhale, knees and gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, knees left, gaze right. And we will just continue side to side, moving with your breath. finding what works for you. And again, what I'm offering here is just that, an offering. You can accept it or not. Maybe your wisdom body tells you that you need something else today. Let's just go one more time to each side. And when you feel even in both directions, we'll come back to center. Let's bring one hand to rest on the belly, one hand to rest near the heart. You can keep your knees pointed up towards the sky, your feet parallel, or you might like to let those knees knock inward and take the feet out wide. You could come back to butterfly pose with the feet together and the knees wide, or you can take those legs out long for Shavasana. Again, honoring your body, what you need, but taking this time in stillness to check back in with the outermost layer, the Anamaya Kosha, noticing what sensations you feel in your body. Cool air on your skin, support underneath you, fabric under your hands, whatever is present for you. And then checking in with the pranayama kosha, the energy body, breath, blood, pulse of life within you. And then the manamaya kosha, the thinking mind, the emotional feelings, whatever thoughts and feelings are present for you. Swap them in to be them. Vinyamaya kosha, the wisdom body, and be offering gratitude to that wise part of yourself. And then the bliss body, the Anandamaya kosha, any possibility you had during your practice to feel fully present and engaged, to feel the connection and the support you have with this group, part of something, your life's purpose and direction, your own personal dignity. Just a few more breaths, good. Now, if your time allows for you to stay right here, by all means, let the video be done, turn it off, stay right here as long as you're able to. But when you're ready to move again, wiggle those fingers and toes, rotate the wrists and ankles. You might bend the knees and the elbows a few times. Take a big full body stretch. And then roll on to whatever side feels most comfortable for you and press yourself back up to your favorite tall seat. And just once again, taking the moment to settle in, to feel grounded, to feel centered. I'm wearing an old t-shirt of mine today from when I used to work at a winery. It says, "What happens at the winery stays at the winery." I love it because it's sparkly and pretty, but I haven't really drank since 2017. And I share that with you today because it was a part of my yoga practice that brought me to that decision. I have had a couple little things last year actually that made me remember why I quit drinking, because it messes up my sleep. It makes me feel like I poisoned myself. It gives me diarrhea, all the things. But I drank pretty heavily when I worked at the winery. And it wasn't until I started a regular yoga practice that I really got honest with myself about that. And I just wanted to share with you today, you know, Maybe it's not drinking for you. Maybe it's gossip. Maybe it's overeating. Maybe it's, having unkind thoughts or doing things to yourself that are damaging to your mind or your body. Maybe it's a relationship you need to let go of. I don't know. But this quote from Brene Brown was a turning point in my life. So I just share it with you today from my heart to yours. I think midlife is when the universe gently places her hands upon your shoulders, pulls you close, and whispers in your ear, I'm not screwing around. It's time. All of this pretending and performing, these coping mechanisms that you've developed to protect yourself from feeling inadequate and getting hurt, has to go. Your armor is preventing you from growing into your gifts. I understand that you needed these protections when you were small. I understand that you believed your armor could help you secure all of the things you needed to feel worthy of love and belonging. But you're still searching and you're more lost than ever. Time is growing short. There are unexplored adventures ahead of you. You can't live the rest of your life worried about what other people think. You were born worthy of love and belonging. Courage and daring are coursing through you. You were made to live and love with your whole heart. It's time to show up and be seen. Drinking was my armor. It was my way to forget the problems in my life, or a way to connect with the people that I worked with at the winery. I don't know if you have armor or what your armor might be, but your armor might be getting in the way of expressing and sharing your amazing gifts. The light within me honors that same beautiful light within each of you. Namaste.